Thank you very much for your kind introduction. Well, since you've already told so much about me, I will immediately start with the presentation. Let's have a look. Yes. So I will give a shot at it. 首先，我想称赞组委会组织了这次令人兴奋的测试与创新论坛。Second time, yeah. 很高兴来这里。I once met an interesting man who had the thesis that Dutch was a more difficult language to learn than English, and there was a good reason for that, because there are a lot more speakers of English than of Dutch, and that's because Dutch is so difficult to learn, and therefore people learn English much easier. So that was his line of reasoning. Well, if this line is correct, then Chinese must be, Mandarin Chinese in particular, must be one of the easiest languages to learn, because there are so many speakers of it. Well, I've recently started to learn Chinese, and I can assure you that for a Dutchman it's a very difficult language to learn. But I just passed my HSK1 exam, so I'm getting on the way. So, there used to be a picture of our building over here, but it has disappeared. But I can tell you something about our organization. NWO is the National Research Council in the Netherlands. Its mission is to actively contribute to the growth of scientific knowledge by financing scientists and to foster cooperation both nationally and internationally. Knowledge that science can contribute to the benefit of society, that's very important for us, either now or in the future. We have a budget this year of about 700 million euros, so a lot can be done with that. I'm representing the Division of Chemical and Physical Sciences. It's a bit of a weird name for the combination of four big fields of science: astronomy, chemistry, mathematics and computer science. So NWO has a very active international cooperation policy. We especially focus ourselves on the emerging economies, the so-called BRICS countries, as Mr. Chen Bo already mentioned. So there's Brazil, South Africa, India, and of course China. With all of these countries, we try to cover 4 stages in the cooperation, and the stages are the simple exchange of scientists. That's of course very important. People travel to each other's country and meet each other. There's joint workshops, working together with bigger groups. We hope, of course, that from that joint scientific projects will emerge. And then one of the last stages that we are working on now, in particular with these countries, is joint science-industry cooperation. So we will involve industry as well. So why would a big country like China, the second world economy, be interested in cooperation with a small country like the Netherlands? Well, according to the World Economic Forum, the Netherlands ranks 5th in the list of competitive economies. In the index, the Worldwide Innovation Index, the country ranks 9th. Dutch scientists are very frequently cited, so science is on a high level, a very broad spectrum. If you count it all together, they rank 3rd in the world. And there are a large number of big multinational companies who have roots in the Netherlands, like ExxonMobil, ASML, DSM, NXP, Philips, Shell, Unilever, and there are a lot more. So this is, I think, interesting from a Chinese perspective to work together with. But then the other way around. And why would the Netherlands want to participate in projects with China? Can we make a difference? Well, I borrowed this one from DSM. I visited them in Shanghai last year, and this is one of their slogans, people, planet, profit. And of course, the profit is one of the main reasons that companies go to China. There are a lot of people also over there, so there's a big market, and also in the field of science and technology, China is really on the rise. In the yearly ranking, the Shanghai ranking, you can see that there are a lot of Chinese universities that are, well, top of the bill. So also for scientists from the Netherlands, it's very interesting to work together with their colleagues in China. And as already mentioned, also there is a long history of exchanges. So there is the diplomatic relations for about 40 years, but our Ministry of Science and Culture and Education already also for this period has very close ties to China. So there's a lot of exchanges been going on for the last couple of years. Yeah, there it goes. So, but money is not all of it, of course. So there's much more to this cooperation. So what's interesting, of course, is the different cultures in our societies. So that gives a different perspective on a lot of problems, and so it's very interesting to confront these different perspectives with each other. That may lead to surprising combinations, and that is what you need if you want to be innovative. You need to combine all kinds of different positions. So, for example, this is a picture I took in Beijing of the water cube. You may have recognized it. And here is the surprising combination of the use of chemical substance, yeah, EFTE, and computer software to calculate these magnificent bubbles. So, and there was a close collaboration between firms from Australia and from China, and this led to this wonderful building. So, what we need to do is exchange, to have exchanges. And according to a survey done by the Royal Netherlands Academy of Arts and Sciences and NWO, there were last year about 300 science projects going on between Netherlands and China. And since 2007, there were about 470 PhD students who came from China to the Netherlands with support of the China Scholarships Council. And there are many more PhD students, AIO's, as we call them in the Netherlands, promovendi, that came to projects over here. And I regret to say that the number of people going from the Netherlands to China is still quite limited, but we hope to improve that over the next years. Also, the number of co-publications is rising steadily between scientists in both countries, and this reflects China's rise as a scientific hotspot So we thought at our division that now was the time to get into the fast lane. This is also in the water cube. Myself, I'm avid swimmer, so I had to be there. So for the last 2 years we've been visiting a large number of research institutes and government agencies and companies in order to talk to them and establish what is needed. This is my boss, Vertegaal, who could not be here today. And this is our delegation, Saskia Mateuze, also at our department. The then director, Xing at the department at Most, and his colleague Dai Chen. People with whom we conferred a lot about our cooperation. So this resulted in a platform, in our platform, for a Sino-Dutch partnership in research and innovation. We started the discussion on it last year, in May last year, at the DSM campus in Shanghai, and we had the formal meeting in the next day also in Shanghai, and besides our own organization, so NWO and MOST, there was also participation by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, the Science and Technology Commission of Shanghai, and there are 2 other partners who could not be present, but we talked with them on another occasion. It was the Ministry of Education in China and the NSFC. It's our sister organization for natural sciences in Beijing. So once the platform was established, we worked on what would we call a call for proposals. And in October last year we had a meeting in Beijing in order to finalize our plans. Mr. Xing Xijun was then promoted to another place. This is the new director of the department, Mr. Zhou. It all resulted in a program of innovation cooperation, and we were very glad that at the occasion of his visit to the Netherlands, Vice Minister Chow, who is looking over here, and Staatssecretaris Zijlstra from the Netherlands were present at the signing of this cooperation agreement. And we agreed to promote research in 5 priority areas, but we also agreed that if other interesting topics came up that would be of interest for both sides, that the list could be expanded. So what's the idea of the program? The idea is to build on a kind of dual symmetry. So on the down below you find the government funding, so to speak. So there is NWO representing the Dutch government, and we can fund science in the Netherlands. In the right hand corner you find MOST, organization in China that can fund science in China. And then on the other side you find R&D funded by companies, both in China and in the Netherlands. Well, the most basic form of this cooperation would be if you have one firm, for instance Philips, say something like that. So there's one firm with, which is established both in the Netherlands as in China, and there are research groups in the Netherlands and in China, and they all work together in one project. Well, the nice thing about that is that for instance, if every party funds 1 PhD student, then you have a project of 4 PhD students. The students from China can travel for some time to the Netherlands, those from the Netherlands for some time to China. And what was very interesting for the companies is that the people from the university would spend some time in the laboratory of the company, and also the other way around is also possible. If there are researchers at a lab in the company, they can spend some time at the university. All this to promote cooperation and innovation. Well, the program is already so popular that in China, in Beijing, during rush hour, I've made this photograph. So why is this? Could this program be attractive? Well, I noted that for the companies it's very important for the human resources. In fact, the first talk I had with one of the companies in Shanghai was not with the director R&D, but with the director for human resources. So they are pressed for, so pressed for high-skilled people that they are very much willing to participate in these kind of projects. Innovation. So this is a program that is what is called in the Netherlands demand-driven. So it's driven from the demand of industry. So they established the topic on which research will be done. So, so to speak, they define the what, and then science coming and comes up with the how to address these kind of problems. And there's, of course, that's attractive financially because the governments pay about 50% of the cost. Well, additional bonuses, things that we didn't think of at first, but showed up in practice. We have had one meeting now in the last year in Shanghai. We plan to have the next one in January of next year. At that meeting, there is informal contact with government officials, and what was also very nice to see is that the companies present find it very attractive to have these direct contacts in this context. We can help with matchmaking between scientists and industry, and there's the exchange of personnel that I already talked about. Yeah. So what's next? So in the Netherlands we have now so-called top sectors. So there are nine economic sectors that get more attention from the Dutch government, and what we will do is to embed this policy to cooperate with China and with the other BRICS countries within this top sector policy. So the funding that is now being reserved for cooperating science industry cooperation for the chemistry and computer science, ICT, within that funding is integrated the money that is available for this cooperation scheme with China. So therefore it's important to note that on the 9th of October the top sector chemistry will have its kick-off meeting in Madurodam in The Hague, and there we will present the total scheme for everything that will happen in the Netherlands, but the international scheme is included in it as well. So if you are interested, please go there or talk to me later today. For computer science and ICT, there is the meeting at ICT Delta, also science industry cooperation, and that's in Rotterdam on the 24th of October. So that's the start of the ICT call. And as I already mentioned, in early January we hope to have this meeting in Shanghai or Beijing. We are not decided yet. So this talk was about exchange. So if you need me, I'm here for whole of the day, so please let's exchange business cards and let's see whether we can cooperate. Yes.